If I hadn't heard it with my own 2 ears, I would not believe that she said that. So you know Will Smith, right? One of the greatest actors in the world right now. You know his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith? Well, his wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, has an internet Facebook TV show called Red Table Talk. It's an interview style show that I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with. The show is typically hosted by Jada Pinkett Smith, her mother, and then her daughter, Willow Smith. Well, this episode was no different. All three ladies were there to interview their guest star host, Gwyneth Paltrow, who is apparently a relationship and sex expert. You might be wondering, why are they interviewing her? I thought you would never ask. They're interviewing her because the subject of this episode is her exact expertise, sex. Now, if you don't typically watch episodes of the Red Table Talk, and therefore you did not see this episode, I will leave a link down below in the description, just in case you want to watch it. Fair warning, it was interesting to say the least. There's a lot to unpack.
It's just a lot. It's a lot.
But that's neither here nor there. I am here to address one specific thing that was stated by Willow Smith in this episode. Now, I'm about to show you the video clip that I'm referring to. However, before I do, let me give you a little bit of context. It was relatively early in the interview as a whole. Gwyneth Paltrow, Jada Pinkett Smith, and her mother were discussing what the communication was between Jada Pinkett Smith and her mother when she was becoming of age and starting to engage in sexual activities. Jada Pinkett's mom recalled that one of the things she specifically remembers telling young Jada was a warning about the uncomfortability and pain that comes along with your first time being sexually involved.
I also told you that
It wasn't going to be enjoyable.
It is not going to be fun.
Upon hearing her grandmother say that, Willow Smith interjected and said this.
I think that myth is, that's not okay.
Yeah.
I mean, for some people, everyone's body is different, you know, but I don't think that you should tell someone it's gonna be hurtful.
Right.
It might not. That's a very patriarchal thing to propagate in the minds of young women.
Ma'am, what? Is she serious? Let me be very clear about exactly what my issue with that statement is. One of the things Willow stated was that some women don't experience pain when they have sex for the first time. Although it is my personal opinion that most women, the vast majority of women do experience pain when they first have sexual intercourse, I'm not even combating that. That's not even my issue. My issues are two things. Number one, the fact that Willow categorized a mother's warning that she might give to her daughter about pain that she could experience during her first time having sexual intercourse as propagated and problematic. It is a warning about what they know to be their reality.
I don't know how patriarchal it was, Willow. It was just my experience.
Even if the majority of women don't experience pain during their first time having sexual intercourse, it still doesn't make the warning from her mother inappropriate. Let me give you an example. I'm from Buffalo, New York. If I knew somebody was about to move to Buffalo, New York, I would warn them about the harsh winters and the snow.
Well, I'm here in the freezing cold.
Now, is it possible to have a winter that doesn't have much snow and perhaps it's not that harsh and not that cold because global warming or something like that? Absolutely, it's possible. However, I'm still going to give them the warning based on what has happened, what history and data shows us to be the norm, what typically occurs in this situation. For Willow to take issue with that warning as though it's problematic is mind-boggling. I literally don't understand it at all. My second issue, and perhaps the most egregious of the two, is this. She accused the warning of potential pain as patriarchal.
That's a very patriarchal thing to propagate in the minds of young women.
What? How? What? I'm so confused. How could... I'm so confused. I'm literally so confused.
I don't understand.
I don't understand what she's trying to communicate.
I don't understand.
And look, I'm gonna be honest with you, I tried. I literally tried to imagine and think to myself, okay, what could she possibly be talking about? How could the word patriarch possibly be appropriate in that moment? And literally, the only possible avenue that I could come up with was that she took issue with that advice because it assumes that a woman who is coming of age and beginning to engage with other people sexually, that she's engaging with a man. So perhaps she thought that that was inappropriate because some women, when they're coming of age, don't engage sexually with men.
This doesn't make a lick of sense.
I know that's a gigantic reach, but I'm just telling you, that's the only possible thing that I could come up with that could make sense as to why she would use that word in that moment.
But why though?
Unless she simply misspoke. In that case, she would get a pass, because not everyone says exactly what they mean when they're on TV, live TV at that, being recorded. It's actually kind of difficult to come up with the words and ideas that you really mean and communicate them on screen.
Not everyone can be as eloquent an orator
In Willow's defense, the girl is only 20 years old, which I actually didn't know until I watched that Red Table Talk episode. And I don't know about y'all, but when I was 20, I said and did some things that were absolutely ridiculous. I've done things I regret, I've done things I wish I would have done, and I've done things that at the time I thought were cool, but now I'm completely embarrassed by.
I'm so embarrassed.
Because of who her parents are and then eventually her own artistic endeavors, she's been a celebrity since she was like 5 years old. And naturally, we sometimes put celebrities on an unfair pedestal that assumes everything they say and do is correct, moral, just, or even sensible. As we all know, that's not true. And by no means is my intent to patronize her, but at the same time, she's 20. Now, as much as I hate to admit it, I have had very strong opinions about certain things in the past that I was completely wrong about. So if I'm wrong here, if I'm tripping, just let me know in the comments. And you know what? I'll respond and maybe we can have a little engagement. Please be a good friend to me and tell me if I'm tripping.
You tripping!
But to be honest, I don't think I am. I think what was happening is that Willow was trying to insert some kind of social justice defense where one was completely unnecessary, not needed, irrelevant, you name it. Thanks for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel and tell me if I'm tripping, please. Peace.